morning, good evening, whatever it is, wherever are YouTube. So it was only a few weeks ago, I was saying that this car was going to be appearing in videos throughout the year. Unfortunately, the circumstances change. I do a lot of miles for work, and of course we're racing this year as well, and I simply need more space. And just the very beginning of a gearbox gremlin has showed itself as well. It's got 153,000 miles on it, so that's not the end of the world. It isn't about to stop. It'll be usable for quite a long time as is, but I've declared the gearbox fault on the advert selling it. It will either make a good runabout for a while for someone that maybe has just had a knee operation or something like that and needs an automatic, or whatever reason, just put a manual gearbox in it and run it, put another auto gearbox in. But I decided, given the space constraints as well, it was time for a change. So we're going from this to this. So what is this? Well, this is a 2009 Volvo V50 R design 2-litre diesel. Obviously it goes slightly against some of the points I said in the past. This is obviously new enough that it's still depreciating, which is a running cost I didn't want to really have to face, but there are some sound reasons for doing this. So basically, what's the situation? Well, I drive a lot for work, and I'm routinely going up and down the motorway and driving in central London. Now the motorway is not bad. I've been getting a steady near 40 miles per gallon out the lane on the motorway. Where it all flows flat in its face is where I hit the central London, where that will suddenly drop to 20 miles per gallon because of the traffic. Now obviously people always say that if you're doing round town you want petrol, and if you're doing longer runs you want diesel. I think that's the wrong way round in a way. Short town runs are not good for diesels because the diesel particulate filters get blocked. But the big difference is that while petrol will do 40 miles per gallon on the motorway and 20 or 25 on an urban run, a diesel will do 50 miles per gallon on the motorway and 45 miles per gallon urban. So actually the average number doesn't deviate so far. The same with towing. When you're towing with a diesel, your miles per gallon don't drop as much as they do when you're towing with the petrol. Now obviously, like I said, on a motorway I could get nearly 40 mpg out the Leon, which I think was quite good for what it was and for the age of car. But towing, when I bought the caravan back from North Yorkshire, that dropped to just 20 miles per gallon, which is broadly in line with my my urban fuel economy. Whereas with a diesel, you're going to get your 50 miles per gallon on the motorway, but you're still going to get probably 35 or if not 40 when towing. It's not as sensitive to usage as petrol is, so the drive makes less of a difference. But the main thing for me is obviously the diesel has nearly 100 foot-pounds more torque than the petrol engine. And of course we've got other little toys which we've just engaged now, such as cruise control. Again, doing a lot of motorways, that's going to be a real benefit. And the longer loading bay is going to help putting things like the loading ramp for the trailer in. So all in all, the time was right to kind of accept that I'm going to have a car depreciate. Fortunately, it's not costing me much, and of course I get to claim the same amount of pence per mile for work. So what happens is that the difference between what I claim and what goes in my pocket is greater, and that means the car somewhat covers the depreciation. So there you go. This is the V50R design. You're going to see this a lot now instead of the Leon. There are a couple of little jobs I've noticed it needs doing, but the car's under warranty, so that's not a problem. I've got a slight clonk from the rear suspension. I think it's just the start of a problem with the rear trailing arm, but they're actually quite cheap and incredibly easy to do. The aircon isn't blowing as cold as it should, and these are known for having problems because they're quite a big mouth on them at front. They do like to pick up stones and hit stones onto the aircon condenser. Fortunately, the aircon condenser is, again, very cheap. It's about £90, and the whole front of the car comes off with half a dozen fasteners, so it's not a big job. So, cut little jobs. They'll both be covered under warranty. Nothing to worry about. But the R design's got the nicer seats. It's got a nicer steering wheel. It's firmer sprung. It's got a body kit. Frankly, the second that I saw an R design, I knew I couldn't have the regular model, and the R design is the one to go for. Downsides, well, it's a bit bigger for parking, although it's still a sensible size being the V50. The V70 was just too big. Again, trying to park a V70 in London's a little bit harder. Other than that, well, Volvo leather doesn't seem to be the hardest wearing. The leather in here needs a really deep clean, which I'm going to give it sort of today, tomorrow. However, there is quite a lot of creasing and cracking, so it does need a bit of reconalisation. So I'm going to look online for a kit on how to do that, because I'd like to get the leather back to immaculate, because these two-tone seats do look and feel fantastic, and there are no holes in the leather, it's just very creased and worn. But it's very quiet, it's very smooth, and so far I'm averaging, and bear in mind this is an average, this has been a lot of urban work as well, average 44 miles per gallon, which is pretty good. So on the motorway it will be doing very near a legitimate 50 miles per gallon. So fuel costs are going to be very good. It has got a very small fuel tank. I mean, the first thing I noticed when I was driving it was I hadn't done a huge mileage and I'd already used a quarter of a tank of fuel. I was like, is this using more fuel than it should? Filled it up and it clicked off at £10. I was like, oh, I see, it's just a tiny fuel tank. So yeah, keep tuned. If you like these videos, hit the like and subscribe button. The weather's starting to improve here in the UK, so we will be back out on a bike very, very, very soon. And we're going to start doing some more work on the, we're continuing to work on the ZZR. And we'll be having a fire up video coming very soon as well. It's getting to that point in time. So do hit that like and subscribe button. No doubt you've seen lots of videos of people saying about the changes to YouTube and their algorithms, and you can't monetize a video if you've got less than 1,000 subscribers and things like that. So now more than ever, it is more important than ever to hit that subscribe button. And that way, when the Kia pulls out in front of me that he just did, I'll have some money to fix it. Do hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you soon.